Go Aries, go Aries, go Aries, go Aries, go. Go. Aries season 2025 is here, marking the start of a new astrological year. Bars. All right, Aries season is bringing in bold energy, bold actions, fresh starts, and a strong desire to move forward. However, we got pesky Mercury and Venus slowing down the thing, demanding us to carefully recalibrate before moving forward and making major actions. This season is going to be packed with major conjunctions. We have solar eclipses or partial eclipses. We have Neptune entering Venus, which is a placement that we haven't experienced for 164 years. We have so many major celestial shifts happening, and there's going to be a theme of forward momentum versus revision, individual willpower versus fate, and clarity emerging out of illusions. Greetings, salutations, and good now. I'm astrologer Kevis Major, doing it major, helping you to do it major using the insights and power of astrology. We're going to start with our Aries season major overview. So the Aries season kickstarts March 20th and goes all the way down until April 19th. Can't you feel the fire in the air already? Bringing in courage, leadership qualities, and it just makes us overall more energized and action oriented. We have Mercury in retrograde in Aries. It's going to be there for some time, bringing in some delays, miscommunication, and that internal chatter that we experience. Well, it's going to be a bit ramped up during this time. Venus is in retrograde in Aries and is going to slide back into the Pisces zodiac sign. We're going to be reviewing themes of love, relationships, our self-worth, and even financial values. Neptune enters Aries March 30th. Aspect that I've never experienced before. So we are excited to welcome huge spiritual shifts and visions, creativity, and just, an overall new perspective on our personal journey for the next 14 years. We're going to also experience some powerful eclipses. There's a new moon and a partial solar eclipse that happens in Aries, which is a time for a powerful reset. If I were to say that this Aries season was going to be very busy, that would be an understatement. When I look at the amount of major aspects, alignments, placements that are happening, it's almost unfathomable. And I think that I would be doing an injustice if I could say beyond a shadow of a doubt that I could clearly predict or anticipate what is going to happen. Although I'm a student of astrology, I've been doing this for some time, we do have some placements that are quite novel. Neptune entering Aries being, the one that pops out. Neptune hasn't been in Aries for 164 years. Let's just try to comprehend that. So older than my parents, older than what my grandparents would have been, older than my great grandparents, so maybe 4 or 5 generations ago. I haven't peered back into the history to see what happened then, so we could make some correspondences with what we think is going to happen now. But I say that to say this, that this Aries season, this spring equinox, the beginning of this new astrological year, is action-packed. Mars is symbolic for, well, I wouldn't say symbolic, but in the Greek mythology, Aries is symbolic for the god, the war god Aries, who charges straight into the fire with no hesitation. Head-on combat, all action. Aries wants all the smoke, and this Aries season is so funny. Aries is the spark, so not the smoke but the spark. It's going to kickstart some major happenings all over the world. Everything seems like it's going to be interconnected, even though everything is isolated. We live in such a connected world. We need to look out. Mars has been in Cancer for some time. Mars is the ruler of Aries. And so the Aries sun signs, Aries persons, haven't been having such of a great year. Cancer is the mother sign. It likes to nurture and take care, but Mars likes the combat. And I say that's to say this, that even though we're in the Aries season, it's all about taking those bold actions. A lot of determination is what is going to be necessary to get the job done. We're going to be moving with a lot of passion. There are a lot of hindrances to the bold actions that we need to take for us to progress and for us to have the security and stability that we think that is needed for this leg of the journey, the astral journey. On the 23rd and 24th of March, we're going to be experiencing a major stellium where Sun is going to conjunct Venus, Venus is going to conjunct Mercury, Mercury is going to conjunct Sun. They're all going to be sharing the stage. Venus and Mercury, however, are retrograde, and so their energies are going to be more internal. It's going to be more, of re-evaluation or reassessing or even re-experiencing past situations. So look out for past people, places, things, circumstances, and situations surfacing during this time. We're going to be re-evaluating our self-worth, love, and even our finances. That's on the Venus side. On the Mercury side, we're going to have moments of intense self-expression, even if it's internal. We could expect the internal chatter to ramp up as well. However, this also means that there's going to be a great opportunity for miscommunication or just bad communication. Past ideas, unfinished business that demand our attention is going to resurface. Also adding to all of the work, all of the actions that we're going to have to take during this Aries season, it's going to be quite busy. Lilith enters Scorpio on March 27th. Leo deals with our first nakedness, feeling embarrassed, the first moon, and so that raw, intense emotion is going to emerge. Hidden truths surrounding power, control, and even our sexuality could come to the surface. This is going to be a personal shift, a major personal shift, and even, felt among the collective consciousness, especially those of us who are quite sensitive. March 27 kickstarts the busy period. All right. Venus retrograde is going to leave Aries and enter Pisces, so it's rolling backwards, moving away from the impulsive Aries energy back into the Piscean emotional, dreamy influence. And so our love, beauty, self-worth, finances are going to be on the table. Might be a bit hazy. Relationships, whether it is with a person, place, thing, circumstance, or situation, may feel a bit confusing or nostalgic. And so we don't need to rush into any major decisions during that week or weekend. On the 27th, Venus also conjuncts Neptune in Pisces, which is going to be major because there's going to be the solar eclipse and new moon in Aries just a few days. So Venus again, heavy themes of illusion surrounding love, relationships with people, places, things, circumstances, even with our money. So be careful with the wishful thinking, even though that is the time for us to be setting new powerful intentions for the new moon that we're going to be experiencing in the subsequent 2 days. So you could see how this month is just going to be a bit of a haze if you're not grounded, if you're not strategic, if you're not making a plan to, stay focused and to stay on course. On the 30th, Well, on the 29th, we're going to be having the solar eclipse or partial solar eclipse, depending on, where on the globe you reside. And there's also going to be a new moon in Aries. So this is a major stellar event that I can't wait to witness with my own eyes. Just looking out, seeing a new moon, conjunct the sun or move in front of the sun. It's going to be a major stellar event. You don't want to miss it. So make sure you check out the time that is happening in your geographical location. A great day for, a massive personal reset. And for me, I just kind of want to enjoy that stellar event. Keeping in mind that Mercury and Venus are in retrograde, so we need to be patient, don't be impulsive, and make sure that we are handling any past situations that are resurfacing. On the 30th, Mercury retrograde is going to leave Aries and go back into the Pisces. So again, a lot of Piscean themes resurfacing, really emphasizing that retrograde energy when you see it go back into a sign. And so a shift from bold and direct communication to more subtle, intuitive communication, and we could be a bit more introspective and reflective during this point in time. Our emotions and subconscious patterns are definitely going to influence how we navigate through this time. All right, we need to be embracing, the shifts and the changes, and sticking to the mission and not getting washed up in all of the energies, because we definitely have the opportunity to get washed up with all of these Piscean currents that are going to be hitting us. Mercury conjuncts Neptune in Pisces just before Neptune is getting ready to go into Aries. I can't even fathom what this is going to bring, but classically Neptune is all about bringing in those visions of a better life, illusions, dreams, fantasies, tapping us into something higher than life, something that is beyond our current situation. It allows us to daydream and have visions, and taps us into creativity that only comes from the cosmos. Of course, it's influenced by the nature that surrounds us and our circumstance and condition, but the innovative thought comes from what we like to call the cosmos. And so hence the themes of spirituality. So over the next decade, it's going to be a massive shift, and this is like the second massive shift that we're experiencing so closely. We had Aquarius shifting into Pluto, now we're having Neptune shifting into Aries from Pisces, sorry. So this is going to be massive for the collective, and it's going to shape our visions of self, for the next 14 years or so. On the 3rd of April, Venus is going to conjunct the North Node in Pisces. Again, more Piscean energy. Venus also conjunct Saturn in Pisces on the 7th. So again, a lot more Piscean energy. Saturn brings in discipline and structure. However, it's in Pisces, doesn't necessarily like to be there. And so this time could be a time of great emotional volatility. This is just jamming me up a bit, because this Aries season is supposed to be about making bold actions, but with all of these retrogrades and we're going back into water, we're revisiting a lot of situations and circumstances. We need to definitely ground ourselves, but lean in to the boldness and just make decisive decisions, because we're going to feel like we've been there, we've done that. Let's do something different. Let's make a different choice so we could have a different outcome or better outcome. April 12th, Sun is going to conjunct Chiron in Aries, a powerful moment for healing. Chiron, the wounded healer, um, opens up old wounds and traumas and allows situations for us to identify all of the chinks in our armor, all of our insecurities, and it allows us the possibility to, heal and work through it. These opportunities may be harsh, okay? May involve embarrassment, or you feeling, less than or devalued in some way, shape, or form. But again, those instances are to show you where you need to develop stronger character. On the 13th, guys, if you've made it this far, hit the like button. I'm getting a bit tired. But on the 13th of April, we're going to be experiencing a full moon in Libra. I absolutely adore Libras, or the Libras that I know. And Venus is going to be going direct in Pisces. This is great because Venus loves to be in Pisces. Venus likes to be in Pisces, and Venus also loves Libra. And so balance is going to be restored when it comes to our relationships, our harmony, our emotions. Venus going direct is going to bring a lot of clarity when it comes to our love life, our relationships, finances, even our self-worth, and just our overall feeling of fulfillment. On April 14th, and you could see that major happenings are happening every day, or maybe two major placements happening on the same day. So this April season is going to be crazy. But as we conclude, because Aries ends on April 19th, we are at the 14th, so we have about 4 more days to go, where we see a conjunction between the North Node and Saturn in Pisces. On the 14th, Mercury re-enters Aries, now direct, and so communication is going to be sharp. We're going to be quick thinking and quite assertive with our communication. This is when all of the impulsiveness is really going to be in full swing. So this is a great time for launching, new ideas, new plans, and just moving forward on those big moves that we were conjuring up for the whole of the Aries season. On the 17th, Mercury is going to conjunct Neptune in Aries, a powerful conjunction that I've never experienced before, because we haven't had Aries, Neptune in Aries in my lifetime. And so a mix of visionary thinking, because Mercury deals with thinking, but Neptune, those higher visions, that creativity. So maybe there's potential for confusion. We don't think that Mercury is going to love to be with Neptune, or maybe they might love to be together, because we could think artistically. All right, so maybe it's just good for the artist. Creative inspiration is strong, but we need to be careful when, dealing with hardcore facts. We can't bend the truth, okay? I don't know why I said that, but boom. On April 18th, Mars is going to enter Leo, which again just really cements the new year, the new astrological year, with forward momentum. Mars loves to be in Leo, bringing in more bold, assertive courage, aggressive, warlike determination to just push us forward. And around that same time, Sun is going to be entering Taurus, where it's going to be all about, security, stability, and tangible results. So the whole of the Aries season seems like, okay, we're mustering up all of this creativity, all of this inspiration. We're making bold moves, but we're being deterred and distracted and held back. And so we could feel all of this pent up energy just building as we are slowly progressing and making strides day by day, pushing forward to attain whatever we are trying to attain. And despite whatever obstacles and hindrances and trials and tribulations and aggressions and aggressors and ops, whatever it is, we still push forward until we get that burst of energy when Mars goes into Leo. So I think this Aries season is definitely going to be about positioning ourselves for that boost. Yeah. All right, so I hope you had your calendar out and you were marking the important dates. All in all, this Aries season is about bold actions and charging forward with a strategy, with a plan, but with sheer determination. So, no matter what obstacles and tribulations stand in front of our way, we know how we're going to maneuver, or at least we know that, hey, we need to maneuver. All right. So ask yourself, what is your Aries focus? What is the new intentions that you're setting for yourself? What are your goals for this Aries season? And how are you going to keep yourself accountable? Or how are you going to not allow yourself to be distracted from your goal? We are going to be experiencing major dynamic shifts. We might be feeling confused, we might be feeling moody, we might be feeling up one day and down the next day. We might be overwhelmed by all of the information, technology, and news that is going to be coming our way. How do you ensure that you don't fall off of your pivot? If you would like to have Aries reading, send me an email at kevisbmajor@gmail.com, because everything is personal. Major farewell until we meet or greet again. I'm Astrologer Kevis Major, doing it major, helping you to do it major using the insights and power of astrology. See you next time.